In this tutorial, I want to talk about how to synchronize Chord Maestro with a click track. This is actually going to be a really nice tutorial because I'm going to walk through a full example of pulling in a song, adding the anchor points, and then working with the click track. So to start off with, I need to make sure that my connections are right. So I go to Tools, Options, and then under MIDI Configuration, this is basically how I can tell Chord Maestro how I'm going to connect to other MIDI devices. So the first one here, this MIDI timecode source, this is how Chord Maestro is going to synchronize with the click track. And so what it's looking for is a set of MIDI inputs, and these can either be logical or virtual and or actual physical connections to the computer. So I've got a few of them set up here, and so on the church computer, I've got these same ones set up. So what I want to do is change it to make sure it's Chord Maestro receive. So that's going to receive the synchronization MIDI events. And then under navigation control source, this refers to a foot pedal or even an iPad or possibly an iPhone. I mean, you can control this using a variety of mechanisms. So whatever I have set up, I just have to put it on control or receive, and I'll be good to go. These guys down here represent different commands that you can use to control the navigation through a chord chart. So if I've got my foot pedal hooked up or iPhone or iPad, all I have to do is just basically hit this listen button and it will capture the command. These numbers here aren't really important, but you can think of them as kind of a signature for a particular type of MIDI event. So I've already got some predefined here. Those probably won't need to change if the computer's already configured. So I just wanted to show you this window so that you would have some familiarity with it. Alright, so let's click OK, assuming that we're all good to go. So the first thing we want to do is go out and grab a song that we want to work on. So we'll open up our Planning Center window, which I already have logged in from a previous session. And for this tutorial, I want to use God of the City. God of the City. So I've got my songs folder open in Planning Center. I just find God of the City. So here it is. Expand it out on my confidence screen arrangement. Grab this, drag it over to my project, and there it is. So let's open it up. Okay, so to start off with, let's make sure that my resolution is set. From a previous tutorial, I already have it set at 1280 by 800, so I click that. That way I can make sure I've got the view set properly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this, minimize this, and because I'm ultimately going to want to have split screen. Okay, so here we go. So now I just want to go through and add my anchor points, which is very easy to do. Just use the space bar. Alright, so now I have my anchor points defined, and I can step through the document using either the arrow keys or these guys up here. Alright, so let's jump up to we're actually going to jump up to the second one because we want to have it register when we jump to the first one. Okay, so now I want to point out this time window here. This is the current synchronization time with the click track. Right now it's at 00. So to start off with, I want to basically hit this record button, and that's basically going to say, you know, start recording navigation events. So we're at time 00, so whatever I do next is going to register as a recorded event at time 00. So we hit record, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back to the first anchor here so that it will record that event. So basically what I just did is just told it, hey, at time 00 I want to be at anchor point 1, and you'll notice that this file got highlighted because that meant there was a change to the file. And you'll notice that when you jump between anchor points, it doesn't happen the recording doesn't happen immediately. It waits like a second, and that's just so that to handle a margin of error where if you were manually scrolling, it would give you time to get to where you want it to get to go. So let's go ahead and save this. So now we are ready to open up the click track and do some recording or synchronization with a click track. So we use Sonar. So let's open up Sonar. Okay, and we'll throw that. We'll open up God of the City project, which is a predefined project. We already have it in our click track library. So we open that up, and there it is. Okay, and we'll just put that on the left-hand side of the screen. You notice that this time matches up with this time. The other thing that we need to do is to make sure that the tempo matches up before we do any recording. So let's jump over to details here, and we want to give our recording reference tempo such that it matches up with this. And what that allows us to do is, if for some reason we want to change the tempo later and go either faster or slower, we won't have to re-record our navigation events because we can just specify a different playback tempo and it'll automatically adjust to whatever the desired tempo is. Okay, so now we're all set, and we basically have to go into Sonar, and I'll go through a different tutorial Sonar, but essentially to make sure that the connection is correct, we have to go to Edit, Preferences, scroll down to Project MIDI, and we just want to make sure that this Transmit MTC is set. MTC stands for MIDI time code, and that basically allows us to synchronize the time between Sonar and Chord Maestro to make sure that we're recording events at the appropriate time. So looks like we're all set here. It's already selected. Click OK there. So now all we do is just hit record on this side, and it's basically going to wait until it receives events from the Sonar. And you'll see the time change as soon as I hit play. So let me go over here to God of the City, and let me just crank down the volume a little bit on this so you can still hear my voice. Take that down to about lower. Okay. So now we go ahead and hit start. Okay, so the click track is starting. We can see that the time on our Chord Maestro is also changing in conjunction with the Sonar. So now all we have to do is just basically listen to the song and step through using our anchor points. So I like to use the cursor keys, but just so you can kind of see what I'm doing, we can use these values up here. So the idea is we want to basically be able to see the chords that would be on the screen for a particular part of the song. All right, so now we're getting to the pre-chorus. We jump to the pre-chorus. Now to the chorus. Jump there. Now I'm going to stop it here because I actually screwed up. I missed one of the cues. So let me stop this. You notice that when I stop this, it also stops the time here. So let me rewind this guy, and I'll just show you how to if you mess up, you can basically, it's really easy to start over again. So what I want to do is I can clear recorded events. So if I click that, then that'll delete all the recorded events that I just added. And you'll notice over here in the recorded navigation events that's empty. So let's just do a do-over here. All right, so go to the second event. All right, hit record again. So now we're at time 0 again. You need to make sure you're at the time that you're wanting to record at. And we'll jump back to the first anchor so that it'll log that. We want to be at anchor number 1, time 0, 0. Now, let me try to do this again without talking so much, and maybe I can actually get it right. verse. You're the God of this city. You're the King of these people. You're the Lord of this nation. You are. You're the light in this darkness. You're the hope to the hopeless. You're the peace to the restless. You are. To the pre-chorus. There is no one like our God. There is no one like our God. Go into the chorus. And the idea here, you want to kind of stay a little bit ahead of the music, just to make sure that there's enough time to kind of see what's coming next. This is more of an art than anything else, because I guess you kind of have to play around a little bit. But I find that, you know, after with a little bit of practice, it's not too hard to get it down. Okay, so I'm not going to do the whole song. I'll just stop that here and rewind. Okay, let's stop that. Now, if we jump over here to details, you can see these are the recorded events that I have. So they're at these various times. If I need to manually delete a particular event, I can do that by just going to delete. So now I've got some events captured. So now let's see what happens when I play these back. So if I want to play back the events I've captured, I just go to play, and that'll jump me back. Since the time is 0, 0, it'll jump me back to the first one. And now I can just hit play. You'll see now the time is moving forward. And notice I'm not touching the keyboard. This is going to happen automatically. So it automatically jumped to the first verse in time with where we did the recording. Jump to verse 2. So this is freeing us up so that we don't actually have to manually control this on a Sunday, which takes a large burden off of us. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to go ahead and stop it now, and we can push stop to stop the playback here. And there we go. Oh, it looks like, and it won't actually stay in sync with the time if you push stop. So if you want to resync the time, you can just push play, and wherever you click to in the Sonar, it will jump back to that on Chord Maestro. So let's jump back here. All right, so then after we do that, it's just a matter of putting it into our set list. So let me make this full screen again. Okay, let's make this sticky. Okay, so then we can just do our God of the City. Let's drop that in here. And then when we want to play this, all we have to do is just hit present, and it will automatically trigger the play button, so that all we have to do then is just to start our click track, and it will automatically page through the PDF document. And we'll do escape to close it. And if you have multiple screens going, and which means you have this view here on one screen, and then you have this view on the component screen, then you don't actually have to hit escape to close this. You can just hit this present button. It's a toggle button, and if it's displaying, if you hit the toggle button again, it will close it. So using escape to close the full screen is only when you are using one screen. All right, so you can see here that the play button is triggered, so it's ready to receive events from Sonar. So let's stop that. Okay, so that's been an overview of how to do recording in Chord Maestro to automate the navigation through the chord charts.